You're listening to Model Talk.
Welcome back, everybody.
Woo! It's Devin Blackerby.
And Nicole Nance. And we're here to talk about model stuff and the modeling industry. And yeah, thanks for coming back and listening. This is episode 4. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're talking about iconic models / Instagram models versus working models. I guess that's a good way to say it.
Kind of going over like who are our favorite models of the past and the present. Mm-hmm. Like what are supermodels, and then working models versus Instagram models.
Yeah.
Basically what you just said.
Do you want to start? Because you seem to have a lot.
I know. I have a lot of favorite models that I've looked up to over the years growing up, obsessed with the modeling industry. I'll just start with the models of the past that I have.
Okay.
Heidi Klum is like usually the first one that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. I really like her a lot. And I like that she's still working as a model, and I just like her attitude. She seems like she'd be like a really good friend.
She's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she seems to really, truly be in love with the fashion industry. Like, you can tell when she's not on Project Runway anymore. Like, her and Tim Gunn have their own show now. But,
yeah.
Like, when she was on it, you could tell that she really, like, loves it.
Yeah.
And, like, she wants them to be successful and stuff.
Yeah,
which is cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
I always respected how kind of, like, direct she was.
She's so direct.
Yeah.
Which I love. Like, yeah.
And then Elvita sang.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
I think
At
so.
the end. Yeah.
Well, didn't she do, she did America's Next Top Model in Germany, right? Didn't she?
I think so.
She hosted that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure she was a great host. She just, seemed to love the industry and love what she did. So, of course, that's really enticing to somebody who is interested in it. Mm-hmm. What's one on your list?
My first one is Coco Rocha, because she's my icon. Also, because she's so fearless. And also, when I was coming up, I remember trying to model a lot of myself after her, because I think we have very similar looks where we can easily play with, like, androgyny or just, like, do almost, like, weird creature-y modeling, but it still looks cool.
Uh-huh,
like,
I would agree.
She's so fearless. Like, watching her pose, she just does not care what she looks like, which I think I'd, like, try to do, but then I'm still, like, slightly worried how it's going to come out. But she just goes.
Yeah, she's incredible to watch. If anybody's, like, trying to figure out posing or...
She's amazing.
She literally just goes for it. It's amazing. I really want to get her kind of, like, coffee table book, Poses, and it just kind of... I think they did this cool thing where they do the 3D imaging of her posing, and they kind of show angles.
Ooh, that's cool.
She has a model boot camp in New York City, and so I know it's not Coco Rocha messaging me, but the Instagram for it started reaching out to me, and they were inviting me to come. But of course, there's a cost, and of course, I'm sure they do this for a lot of people.
That's cool. I haven't gotten
It's like $2,500, which really isn't bad. They like put you up for a week. I just like couldn't swing it. And I asked them, I was like, am I too old? And they were like, absolutely not. So I'm like, maybe next year. Zach, if you're listening to this, Christmas, 25. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you want to try to
yeah, right?
For us?
Significant others, parents.
We can go together.
But I want to believe it was her messaging me.
I mean, it might have been someone on her team, because I bet you she slightly looks at, like, who they're asking, because they're not just going to ask anybody.
I like to think so, but
I like to think they wouldn't ask anybody.
Yeah.
They probably are, like, looking for people who are actively working and stuff.
I think so.
Or, like, trying to, I don't know what her qualifications are.
Yeah. She'd be a dream to work with and learn from.
Heck yeah.
And I think, too, with the like, fearless posing, it's hard when, how do I word this? Like, when you trust your photographer, it's a lot easier, because they're not going to, like, pick a photo where you look ridiculous. You know their style, but still, I look ridiculous most of the time, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's okay. Not most of the time.
I used to not like smiling on camera.
I don't really either.
I don't. I kind of don't. I've gotten better at it with, like, commercial posing, to where it looks like you're, like, almost laugh smiling, because then it looks more natural. But I don't like smiling on camera. I just don't like it.
I don't like when smiling doesn't, in my opinion, match the outfit or the vibe.
No.
But I'll do it. I usually try to throw some in just for variety, but I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah, I don't know. Another one is Miranda Kerr. She was I remember first seeing her as a VS model, Victoria's Secret model, but she's also just gorgeous, and she seems super nice. And then she started her own. I don't think it's cosmetics. I think it's more skincare, like the Cora Organics. That's all her stuff.
Yeah,
that she did. Right. So she seems really cool and down to earth based on like the interviews I've watched with her. So she seems like someone who almost I feel like I would equate to her. Like she really liked modeling, but she didn't need it to be her whole life. So she kind of transitioned into something else she was passionate about, which was like really natural beauty. So that's mostly what she does now, which is still cool though.
I like her Instagram stories. She shares some pretty good like behind the scenes fun stuff.
She's also seems just like a real natural beauty. Natural beauty. Like she doesn't seem to need to do a lot, and she looks very beautiful. And her kid's really cute. Yeah. Her son she had with Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom. I was obsessed with him growing up, like posters all over the wall, obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Another one of mine from the past is Amber Valletta. I always really liked her because I thought she looked very similar to my mom. She had 16 Vogue covers, and her first one was at 16 years old. She I always really liked her. She always came off to me as very like what's the right word? Kind of like elegant and sophisticated, but I liked her a lot. I don't think the name isn't as notable as some of the others.
I'm ashamed to say that I don't know who that is.
Look her up, guys. Amber Valletta. Okay. She's gorgeous. And then, I mean, she's not as notable as like Giselle, who's on my list.
Giselle Bundchen, yeah.
Love Giselle Bundchen. I love her walk specifically. I just feel like she owns it. Owns the runway. But it's like every model from Brazil is just...
They're very confident people, I feel like. They're just really... Like Adriana Lima is like... Yeah.
Didn't she just retire from Victoria's Secret?
She did.
This was her... Yeah. I watched that show and I felt like they didn't do her justice with what they had her wear for her last show.
No, they should have done something like crazy. Like they just did like... I mean, it was still cool. Like, she had the feather wings, and she had, like... Oh, did she even have wings? Yeah, I think she had, like, a feather poof behind her.
Yeah, they were smaller.
And then she had, like, a feather kind of body chain, and then, like a panty. But I was like, she's been in so many, like, iconic, crazy things. Like, the first one I could think of was, like... I think the first Victoria's Secret show I really remember watching on TV. I mean, I watched a bunch later. But, like, the first one I remember is when they did the circus theme to open, and she was, like, the ringmaster, and she had this really cool, like, top hat and this beautiful like coat and like these boots, and I was like, that's like iconic.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember that.
And it's like you put her in that. I feel like you could have done something like way cool. Like they have a budget. They could have done something crazy, like the biggest wings, or like the traditional. I think when you think of the VS wings, they think of the big like angel style ones that are really poofy and long, and they like float.
Have her clothes on like a classic image.
Like, but yeah, and they gave her that, and I'm like, all right.
I'm not particularly happy with Victoria's Secret right now.
Yeah, next episode, guys, stay tuned. We're gonna get into what's going on with that.
Yeah. And then their whole, anyways, with their shows. They're not doing a show this year, so.
I wrote a couple of people that aren't necessarily models, but they like are like iconic beauties to me. Well, one is Natalie Portman, because I look a lot like her, and I think I could like be her stunt double.
And except she's short.
I would do it. Natalie Portman, if you're listening, I'll do it. I know they'd have to reframe camera a lot because you're very short and I'm very tall.
That's okay.
Like, I could make it work.
They'll figure it out.
It's fine. You seem great. And also, like, Dita Von Teese. She's a burlesque artist, and she's stunning.
She really celebrates, like, the feminine form and feminine confidence.
Body positivity, all the way. Also, her vintage fashion is just beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
she does really
curates pieces, and she does it in a gorgeous way.
You can tell she appreciates it, and she knows how to dress her body. She's awesome. I would totally agree with that. Present models, I've always really been into Behati Prinsloo. Really into. That sounds creepy. I remember Victoria's Secret again. She's a Victoria's Secret model, but their Christmas commercial came out. And I kept seeing her in the commercial, and I was like, who is that? And she, Behati Prinsloo, she's married to Adam Levine now. She's kind of paused. I just thought her face was really pretty. She's South African, like Charlize Theron, who I would put in that like classic beauty category. There's a lot of South African model, like Doutzen and Krause.
Yeah.
Who does a lot for like the environment and elephants. I know that's one of her big things. But
she's really pretty.
She is really pretty. She's I don't want to say this in like a like this is everything or this is the most important thing, but she's aging really gracefully. Like I don't think she's
stunning.
She doesn't appear to be having like Botox or any plastic surgery. She just like Heidi Klum. They just seem to be
a very natural beauty.
Yep.
And so she just is going to stay that way probably.
Yeah. And then money for skincare.
Money for skincare.
Facials.
She also has I am a person with very thin lips. I think she has very beautiful lips for her face. Like I think they work really well with her look, and they're always she's just pretty.
Yeah.
Like I say, she's just pretty.
But it's interesting, like in modeling, people we did a whole episode on this, but to me it makes me think of like what is like a natural beauty, and I've become so much more confident without makeup and just like with my weird quirks. Like my nose is a little bit crooked. It's like just a little bit, and I notice it like crazy, but people seem to think it's like kind of like a unique twist.
It's like Owen Wilson. He doesn't want to fix it.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but I'm saying like he doesn't want to fix it.
And he looks
nose, so
awesome.
It's like
character. And one side of my face looks slightly different than the other. And it's, for me, modeling has done the opposite of making me like self-conscious. Okay. In a natural way.
You have your moments.
Yeah. I'm self-conscious in groups, and did I wear the right thing, and does it like look okay, all that crap. But anyways, so then you start, I think, seeing people more for their natural beauty. It shifts, I think, how you kind of look at people.
Yeah.
And appreciate them, like your eyebrows, like just the way that they are like full and bushy, but like awesome.
Yes. I don't do anything.
But they're also like different. I like your eyebrows. Anyways.
They're large and in charge.
Look at our Instagram to see Devin's eyebrows.
Renee glued them for the shoot we just did, and it took me a while to... Renee, don't feel bad. It looks really cool. Like I was down for it.
It's a very typical thing to do.
It took me a minute to like get it out of there, and I was trying not to take a bunch of hair out because it's gonna look weird because of how thick my eyebrows are. And I was like, oh no.
The micellar water on a spoolie, like, will pull it right out for me at least.
I didn't have a spoolie, so I was using toner, which is close.
Yeah.
And I had like a thingy, and I was like. But I was getting it, but then I was getting stuck in like little balls, so I kept just going like this with my finger.
Yeah.
Just in the shower, I was like,
But it does eventually come out, and it's usually worth it.
No, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna take a minute to happen.
Yeah. On that like weird tangent, and then we're gonna get back to our topic. For any models, this is like a piece of advice with eyebrows. So there's a big trend.
Don't touch your eyebrows. Just make sure you don't have a unibrow.
Just don't overpluck, I guess.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years ago, I got microblading, which I'm obsessed with. I absolutely love it.
But
my eyebrows were crazy.
Hair, so I could understand because you want to just define your face more.
Yeah, and like just wake up. They were uneven. They were really hard to fill in. I could never find the right color. But I'm finding 2 years ago, I wasn't as into the industry as I am now. And so I was like, it doesn't really matter. Because models shouldn't really have microblading, and definitely not eyelash extensions. But, so anyways, now I kind of wish I maybe would have waited. But I'm also 29 now. I did it at 27. So it was kind of like, why wait? Yeah. But just anyways, for any models thinking about doing it, consider that. Like ask a couple makeup artists' opinion, because with the gluing of the eyebrows, I don't have a whole lot of hair to glue stuff to. And that's actually been brought up. I love Carrie Straw's makeup. Yeah. And I've always really looked up to her work, and I got to work with her finally. She's she just got nominated for PS. Yeah.
Congrats, Carrie.
Congrats. She's a really awesome makeup artist in Portland, extremely talented. And so I was really honored to work with her. And it was one thing that she had said to me. She was like, it was just a piece of advice, like I was asking her about it, and so I want to pass that on to other models.
I wouldn't even think of that.
But she did. She told me, she was like, if it's what makes you confident, and it's what, it's something to you that is important, then like don't change that. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to models.
Do you have any more?
I have so many.
List off some.
Okay,
We'll just go through them.
So past models, I'll finish that list because it's shorter. Christy Turlington, her face has always been really unique to me.
She's just an icon.
I know. She's just, that's it.
If you study fashion history, which I have, she comes up a lot as like some of the first big designers' outfits, like on Vogue. Like, she's a classic face that's like put in the curriculum. Like I had to learn about her.
She's just, I love her face.
Like in history
unique
of fashion
and
design, Christy Turlington.
Yeah, I want to look at that now. But on that subject of like the 90s models, the genuine, in my opinion, supermodel era, I'm a big fan of the current model, Kaya Gerber. And she's the daughter of holy shit. Cindy Crawford.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She looks just freaking like her.
Right? But she
like
uses
twins almost.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But she uses the last name Gerber, which I appreciate because she's not trying to live off of her mom's success as a model.
Her dad's name?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't look it up, but and she, I think in her own right, is becoming one hell of a model.
I think her and I would say, I mean, with like Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid, obviously their mom was like an iconic model. And then she's on like Real Housewives, I think, too. But
I didn't even know that. Though.
I didn't know that part. And I didn't even know their mom was really a model until like I looked into it. Because I think they've very much separated themselves from their family and like both made their own career paths and showed that they both have really good work ethic.
They're both very different.
I definitely like lean towards liking Bella Hadid better because she has more of like a crazy cool fashion, like
editorial.
Yeah,
whereas Gigi does like Tommy Hilfiger.
Girl Next Door, which is good for her because it works. But like, if I'm gonna compare myself to one, it's gonna be Bella because I think like if we were gonna shoot together, it would be cool because we have a very similar face structure.
Yeah, I could see that.
Whereas with like, I don't want to like shit on Kendall Jenner. Like, I know she works very hard, but like to her, I think it's much easier for the public to like still connect her to her family. And I know she's like talked about in interviews, she's worked really hard to like separate herself, which I understand that's probably like a huge struggle for her. But like, it's hard when you still are actively like in the show. Yep. Like, and then she works really hard, and like she's talked about how she gets really bad like anxiety, and like she's kind of an advocate for that, and like. But it's hard because she still, like, is actively, like, films keeping up. So it's, like, hard for me to look at you and be like, well, I know you do modeling, and you have, like, an iconic face, and it's beautiful, and I know you work really hard, but then you also came out with that article a while ago being like, I pick specific jobs.
I know. I was just going to bring that up. And she was saying how, like, I'm sure other models go to a bunch of castings, but I don't know what that's like, or... It was something, and she could be misquoted, but at the time,
that's just something you keep to yourself. Yeah. But part of me does think that she maybe said it off the cuff, and someone just took it and ran with it because it does sound like something that would happen. It doesn't sound like she would be like, "Well, I never go to cast," because she seems relatively humble. Like,
she's been in the public eye for how long? Like PR, she's got to understand to some extent. She is young, and we all go through those phases. Like, for example, Miley Cyrus went off the chain there for a little bit. I've never said that before. Off the chain.
She was trying to break out from her Disney image, so she just went for it.
So I wonder if, like, Kendall is, like, as she's growing up, like, morphing, like, getting this weird attitude phase.
Yeah, we're like, how old is she? Is she, like, 22? Cause
that sounds right to me.
She's 22 or 23, because I know Kylie and I are the same age, because Kylie and I are both 21. Okay. Kylie just turned 22, I'm turning 22. But, like...
I don't really know.
I think Kendall's 20... I'll look it up.
That sounds right. She's under 23. 23 or younger, for sure.
Yeah, I think her and Kylie are really close in age. But it's like, you just don't say that. And it's like, we've kind of talked about it before, but like, I'll never say no to a job in person because it just unfortunately, it reflects bad on you as a model as being sometimes like a quote unquote, like a bitch or really prissy. Yeah,
which is annoying.
So I understand her being like, well, I'm really picky because, like, you should be really picky when you get to a certain point because then you don't have to keep taking the jobs that are, like, maybe a little sketchy or maybe
you're a brand, so you have to be
because you finally have established your brand, too, so you don't want to, like, break away from that. So I understand her perspective, but it's just sometimes, to the general public, too, it comes off sounding such, like, a diva. And I know she probably didn't mean it that way, but...
Hopefully.
I would like to think she didn't mean it that way.
I have a hard time with the Kardashians, but... Well,
I appreciate them as businesswomen.
I agree. They're getting like
really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when they first had their. This is how I guess young I am. I remember when their clothing line came out in Sears. Like I remember
Sears.
Yes, they did.
I thought it was like.
This was when they were beginning couple seasons of Keeping Up. And they still had, like, their own clothing, their own stores, too, like Dash, which I think they still own. I don't think they necessarily sold those. I'm not super
I always thought that was a cool name for it.
Dash, yeah. But they came out, and this is when I didn't watch them at all. So I had just knew about them.
Mm-hmm.
But they came out with a Kardashian line for Sears. And they did a whole thing just with Sears, like, exclusively. And I remember when it first came out, because I think I was, like, in middle school or like early high school. I think it had to be middle school though, because I remember my dad's coach talking about it, and I was still in middle school at that point. And I remember being like, why? Like, because Sears is just so like, you don't think like Kardashian, Sears, like, you know. But now I think they've elevated themselves, and they all have really seemingly good quality brands. Like, I'll just like toot Khloe Kardashian's horn. Like, I love Good American. Like, I was really skeptical when she made that.
Are those her jeans?
Those are her jeans.
Okay.
I was really skeptical when she made that, but like they actually make them relatively long for tall people, and they are really good quality denim. They fit really well. Like, I actually really like them. I've seen Kylie's beauty stuff. I haven't tried it. Like,
I've tried her lip kit, and I really like it.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was hesitant to try it because, like I said, I struggle a little with the Kardashians. Not from I don't care if they have plastic surgery. I don't care. Like, whatever makes you feel good, don't do it because society, like, tells you should. I'm not judging them on that. Mm-hmm. It's the way that they promote the waist trainers and the diet tea. I will give them a lot of credit. I feel that, like, Kim has, like, started veering away from that, and Khloe has, Khloe is still doing it. From what I know. I don't follow them closely.
Kendall Jenner's 23.
Oh, okay,
I just
cool.
looked.
Side note, Kendall Jenner. But Kim Kardashian is doing a lot of good now. So is Kourtney. So I'll give them that credit. But that's why I have a hard time with them. And so it's, Anyway, we're talking a lot about the Kardashians.
I know we are. But
I feel really old, though, because if you were in middle school and the Kardashians was on, like, I was in college.
I think middle school is when they were doing their first couple of seasons. So it was like
the beginnings. I guess they've probably been on for
They've been
really
on for
long
like
time.
20 seasons or something. It's like a long time. Like, because I remember watching, if you're ever interested, there's on YouTube, I'm sure it was on TV, but the Hollywood Reporter does these like icon interviews where they interviewed 5 people who've created like masterpieces in TV, and Kris Jenner was one of the people at the table because she concepted the Kardashians, and it's huge. And it was like Kris Jenner, RuPaul, a producer who produced like Jersey Shore. There was someone from This Is Us, and then there was one other huge producer name who I didn't know. But they interviewed all of them about like what makes your TV show iconic. And Chris's thing was really interesting about being like, well, I think we're just a family, and people just like watching, like, I mean, they're not really a normal family anymore, but in the beginning they were kind of just a normal family that got put into fame, obviously because of their dad with the O.J. Simpson case, which is a terrible way to be thrown into the public eye.
And the sex tape.
And the sex tape, but like initially it was the O.J. case, and so it's like, she's like, it's almost kind of interesting how she took that and ran with it and turned it into this whole business, which is like kind of crazy. And yes, did they ride the fame? Heck yeah. But like, I think they kind of own it now, which is cool because they built a huge empire on it. Like, are you kidding? Yeah. Their children, like all the little new babies, are gonna live great lives. So like, good for them. Like, okay. Anyway, back on track. Do you have any more models? Yeah. Okay.
So I'll just like finish up here real quick. I'm a huge fan of, so there's Precious Lee, who I don't know how new she is. She was the first black plus size model on Vogue and in Sports Illustrated. I just really like, I was looking at some runway photos of her, and no. I think Precious was a movie. I don't know. She's a runway model. Well, I'm sorry. She's a model, and she just has this like vintage vibe about her, but still like modern. Cool. Look her up. And then I love Laura Stone. And then I'm going to botch this name, but have you ever seen Liu Wen? It's Liu and then her last name Wen.
That name sounds familiar.
Oh my gosh, she is so gorgeous. I'm jealous of her skin.
Give me like some big ad or something she's been in.
Shoot, I should have written it down. I know she's like considered one of the top models right now.
Oh, so she's probably done a lot, and I just like didn't necessarily recognize her.
Yeah,
that
happens.
So that's a thing. Just model misconception corner. I think a lot of people think like the iconic models of the world are like the ones that they know really well, like Kendall Jenner and the Hadids. But the best models, you will actually never know their name because they're in everything, and you will never know who they are because they are not a public figure. Yeah. Usually, they're usually just modeling, and they're doing great. Like, there was a year where there was this girl, like, Alexandra, something, but she was, like, Russian, but she was, like, the top model that year because she was literally in everything. She was gorgeous, but no one knew who she was. So when Forbes comes out with their, like, most paid model list, like, I bet you they're on there. But, like, obviously the ones who are also a celebrity figure are going to get paid more. But they're going to be on there, too, because they're making bank. Yeah. Because they're, like, the top names of that year. Like, for a while, Cara Delevingne, before she moved into acting and stuff, people had no idea who she was, really. But she was, like, one of the top models for, like, several years. Yeah. So.
I like her, too.
She's a shorty.
She is. Yeah.
I didn't know she was 5'7" until I saw her walk in VS one year, and I was like, she's so tiny.
I like her, like, persona, like her social media, and she's just kind of like fierce and fun. Yeah. That's funny. What did you call that? Model misconceptions corner. Yeah. It's going to be a new thing. So yeah, I mean, Joan Smalls, I also
she's beautiful too.
Really like her work. I think I don't know. I guess, yeah, I'm not even commenting on their work. I'm just saying how beautiful they are. But I think it's because in my mind, I know what they've done. And so that's what I'm seeing. But they're on my list because of the work that they've done. So look that up. I don't want to leave that stuff out of it. But yeah, so that's my list. Models past and current.
Cool.
Yeah, if you guys have any models that you have like grown up looking up to or you're really obsessed with now,
or send just us iconic women.
Yeah.
Iconic beauties.
Because what is a model ultimately? Like, not supermodel, not any, but like just the general term.
Yeah. Someone who can take a photo really well.
Right.
Well, just like one of my iconic women is Elvira, and she's like a horror model in essence, and she's a horror personality. Is essentially how she's categorized, plus comedian, but she does like all this crazy random horror modeling, and she's so cool. I love her.
Yeah, send us your favorites through like our Instagram, or I guess that's at Model Talk Podcast PDX.
Yes,
I'd be interested to look up different people.
Yeah.
Or
if you guys want us to start a Facebook group, let us know. But like, we're just kind of keeping it on Instagram because I feel like every podcast, and if you listen to a lot of podcasts, you'll understand this. Every podcast I ever listen to that starts a Facebook group, it eventually has to get shut down because people start being rude. So, and I don't want to necessarily put the time and effort into that right now when we're still really young.
Yeah.
So
maybe if I'm bored one night,
you'll make a podcast.
I was like,
you can make a page.
Yeah.
So people can like it, I guess.
Well, that was our business meeting.
Yeah, good stuff.
And
okay, so now...
Well, I feel like...
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Hey guys, so we're using Anchor to record our podcast.
It's been really easy. It's probably the easiest way out there to record your podcast.
It's super easy. Even a couple of like newbies like us can do it. It gives you tools to like record and edit your podcast right in the app or on their website.
It's free, which is a huge plus. They provide everything for you at no cost.
Yeah, they also help distribute your podcast like they're doing for us right now. We're slowly getting on all of the different networks and such. And they give you a way to help track your ads, like this one.
Yeah, like this one, exactly.
Yes.
And also there's an opportunity to make money and have your podcast supported by Anchor, as well as other sponsors.
Yes. So go ahead and download the Anchor app on App Store or Google Play, or go to anchor.fm online to start your new podcast adventure.
Thank you, Anchor.
Bye. And we're back
with Model Talk. We've been talking about our favorite models, past and present.
Yes. Now we're going to talk about Instagram modeling versus working modeling. Real modeling, working modeling.
All of that jazz. I kind of want to, super quick.
Go for it.
Talk about supermodel. I think that plays in Instamodel, working model, supermodel. And what is actually a supermodel?
Yeah.
So I looked up the actual definition.
The Webster's Dictionary defines a supermodel.
And basically, the definition is that they're highly paid. They have a worldwide reputation. They've done multiple haute couture and commercial work, so versatile.
Okay.
And then really supermodels became big in the 80s or the 90s, but they've been around since the 30s. Mm-hmm. And so, in my opinion, I think social media has taken away the excitement and the mystery of modeling and who these models are and when you get to see them.
For sure.
And then there's just so many platforms to model on that I don't know that the 90s supermodel is really achievable again.
I think the new age version is the iconic VS girls are kind of considered that, or the few big fashion faces I think Cara Delevingne was one for a while. Now she's more an actress. Mm-hmm. Who else? I think Chrissy Teigen for a while.
Oh, I love her.
I'd almost say she was one just because she was kind of an icon. Who else?
Yeah. I guess it's hard to know current. Because we can look back and say that Tyra Banks was a supermodel, but it's only in hindsight.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to wait for another 10 years and be well, yeah, that person.
Like a movie star. It takes time to... Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, I was personally curious, and yeah.
Well, I guess that's hard because I think people try to define some of the current Victoria's Secret girls as supermodels, and I'm I feel you have to wait a little unless they're super established.
Yeah.
Like Adriana Lima. I'd give it to her. Mm-hmm. She's done it for a really long time. Sure. Mm-hmm. And she's done a bunch of different ads. She's gone from VS to high. I don't know if she's done really high fashion. I think she
I'm thinking of Alessandria Ambrosio, Victoria's Secret model. She's definitely
one. She's crossed the border both times. Mm-hmm. Adriana Lima, I've seen her do some De Segal stuff, which is kind of a kind of higher and Spanish brand, but they're not couture. I don't know if she's done anything. We'd have to look.
I've seen makeup brands just more in a celebrity way and not as a model though.
For sure, she's definitely a personality now.
But I feel models, movie stars, all hit that point eventually.
Yeah, they do.
It's they're still modeling, but that's just what they are to everybody. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to look back and see. It's just that you can model in so many places, and I think the word has just gotten tampered down.
Yeah. Well, for example, Instagram. I think anybody who's first off, it's interesting to hear new media, current media, when something gets really viral on YouTube or viral on Instagram and seeing a news report on it. It's interesting to see old media try to report on it because I don't think they super understand it still, and they never make the effort to, so they just always talk about it it's this little tiny thing when it's no, it's actually a really big deal.
Yeah.
And it's catapulted a bunch of people's careers. For example, there's so many Viners who transitioned to YouTube and now transition to some mainstream TV, or a couple of YouTubers Shane Dawson had his own TV show for a while. Todrick Hall had his own MTV show for a while. Tana Mojo has an MTV show right now. There's a lot of easily transition back and forth, and I think there's a couple ways you can do that in modeling. Whereas if you get popular enough and turn yourself more into a personality plus modeling, then you can launch yourself into actually being signed with an agency and then actually doing modeling. Whereas freelancing and being a brand yourself / I'm also modeling is different. I'm going to talk about one of my friends for a second as an example. I have a friend who is I'm just going to say an artist, but he's a content creator. He does YouTube, and his name is Flitz, and I adore him. He I remember we met online. We met on Instagram, and I didn't actually like go out and see him in LA until, I mean, maybe like a year of knowing him in social media wise. And you go out there and you see like this lifestyle they put out, and his is actually pretty honest, but you go out there and you think that like someone who's a social media star, I guess, and is on a huge YouTube platform has like all this money and lives in these huge houses, and they have this like really like bougie lifestyle. And I go out there and he's like a super nice guy. Yeah, he has like some nicer custom clothing pieces, but he lives in like, you know, a humble apartment in LA, and like he's working his ass off to make what he loves, and it's a lot of sitting around brainstorming and like, or doing things as a creative outlet. Like we did a bunch of photo shoots together, and we just did them kind of for fun and to have for each other's Instagrams, but they never like went anywhere. But like, so it's a lot of like just having a creative moment and a creative process. So to me, an Instagram model is someone who creates art, because they're creating a piece of art, whether it's photo shoot or sometimes there's like they'll do videos or something like that. And I think Instagram is an amazing platform to share that. And there's also like, now that I've met someone who I would categorize in that world, it's so much pre-planning, because I've been a part of it now with Flitz, where we're doing a shoot together. It takes so much work to get a whole team together and actually do it. Yeah. And then you come out with like a couple of images, you know. But I think it's really beautiful. To me, it's a form of modeling, because you obviously have to know how to pose correctly, and eventually you maybe learn how to work with your body and stuff on camera, which is a whole thing. But like, I wouldn't necessarily categorize them as a full-time model. I say they do modeling. Yeah. They like practice it, but full-time modeling to me is like how I categorize someone who is like if you for tax purposes listed like model, is like you've been paid, or you've been in and out, you've been published in a magazine, or you've walked on a runway. You've been in one of those things where it's like, hey, a random person from the public can look up an ad of yours and be like, there you are. Yeah. Like, or like a magazine or something. Even if it's like a random fashion obscure magazine. Like, it's like, okay, there you are. Like, you can point that out to somebody. Like, I was
something tangible beyond like images, because...
Yeah, like I was in Horizon Air. And no one told me. I didn't know, but it was from Carla Mink when I walked for her in Alley 33, because they did a piece on her, but they used my photo in Horizon magazine. So I got a copy of it, and I could be like, look, I was in a magazine. Like, I'm published. Wasn't credited, but I'm published. It happens.
Was it a runway photo?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was
usually models don't
They don't get credited. So it's like, that's a piece of something where I could be like, well, I actually like do it as part of a full-time job. Whereas Instagram modeling, I think it is a full-time job in a sense that they're working around the clock to do stuff, but it's like you're not modeling the whole time. Like, you're creating content. To me, they're more being an artist.
Yeah. Like on the... what you're saying about like magazines and being able to go out and like find people, it's really cool to be able to find yourself, because in my mind that also, it feels very validating. Like for me, I was recently published in the Portland Interview, like
that's cool. I haven't gotten in that
fashion yet. One like maybe 2 months ago, I forget, and they were images for Sloane White's one collection, and I was at like a doctor's appointment, and it was sitting on the table, and I like flipped to it, and my doctor walked out to get me, and I was like, it's me. And they thought I was crazy, but it was really...
That's cool, though.
It was cool. And and then it happened exciting. A couple times, and my husband like came across it once, and so that's been really cool.
I've gotten it by mistake a couple of times when it wasn't me.
Oh.
Like when I was in high school, there was this big ad in Washington Square for Washington Square Mall in Beaverton, and it was just like a girl in some sunglasses. And everyone asked me at school, they're like, is that you? And I'm like, no. And I went out there and I looked and I was like, we look similar, but it's like not me. Like,
shameless plug, I'll be in British Vogue in September.
Heck yeah, you plug that shit.
Sloane White is taking the really courageous leap to try and get her work out on a broader spectrum. So she's doing a little advertising for her beautiful clothing in British Vogue, and I'm really fortunate to get to be in the September issue, which is always like the collector's issues for Vogue and Vanity Fair. So I'm really excited.
Did they just shoot that cover with Taylor Swift? Is it the current one?
That's August.
Oh, okay.
September's, I don't know who's on the cover yet. Cool. Anyways, I digress to brag about myself. So I have like a comparison
Okay, I'm ready.
So, and then too, while listening to you, I realized I think I crossed Instagram model and influencer. And I think there's a difference there too.
They sometimes morph into the same thing.
Yes, they do.
It does. Recent example on the season of The Bachelor there was a girl named Hannah, and she was listed as influencer. And that was like her main job. So she kind of was a model in a way. She's very petite. She's very cute. Now I'm totally blanking on who that Bachelor was. But she was listed as an influencer, and I remember going on her page, and she literally just made all her money off that. Like, she did like the Fat Fit Fun, you know, she did Sugar Bear hair, like she did all this promo as an influencer, but she also did some modeling too. I think she might have been like a blogger too, like a lifestyle blogger.
Yeah, I feel like there's like lifestyle influencers who like share like I always see that gummy bear hair vitamin, and they kind of pose like naturally kind of, and share personal images. Anyways, I can't help but hear influencer and not roll my eyes, but then...
It was Colton. It came back to me. Colton was the Bachelor that season.
Oh, okay. I never watched that show.
I watched it with my roommates, and we make fun of it.
Yeah.
And then we looked at the application process one time, and it's so fake. It's so funny. The first thing they ask you is like, height, weight, age, Instagram... And then they're like, what's the closest city near to you? And so it's basically just a huge, like, are you kind of famous? Let's make you more famous.
I have a friend,
in a way.
Yeah, I have a friend going through the process right now.
There's
a girl
here that did it, Mandy. She was cool. I remember working with her a little. She like was a local model here. She did not make it that far. She did Juan Pablo's season.
That's my dog scratching if you hear that bumping.
She did Juan Pablo season, but she made it to like, I don't know, the 3rd or the 4th. But it was still cool because I remember watching her audition video, and she just did the weirdest thing because she's from Portland. But it was so funny. And I was like, yes, she has to get on there because like, you really get an Oregon person. If you do, they're like, Tualatin or like Laco. Like, you really get someone from Portland. So it's like, yeah, heck yeah, get up there and represent. Like,
this is like another super side tangent, but people from Portland, there was this show that was filmed in Alaska, and it was, I cannot remember the name, but they dropped people off by themselves in different parts.
Oh, is it Alone?
Yeah, and they had a woman from Portland, and let me tell you...
They get a lot of Pacific Northwest people on that because they're ready to survive. Like,
the Portland woman was, I think, your typical, what's that? Portland person. Yes. So the very farce, like, view of Portland people. But she made it so far because she was a little, like... I want to be tactful about what I say because I'm not from Portland. So I came here with that... like that thought. And
was she the one with there was a one Oregon woman on there? Did she have like MLS? She had like
and
I know who you're talking about.
Her personality
was very just like of the earth.
Yes.
Very natural, like almost naturopathic in her way. And she had, is it MLS? She had some chronic illness, so she had to be on a really specific diet. And so I remember her talking about how she like trained her whole self to go on the supernatural diet, so like she wasn't worried about being alone and eating and having to eat leaves sometimes because she was like so trained and so ready, and she did make it really far.
She did.
They brought her back. My mom loves that show, so I watched it with her. And they brought her back when they did a season in Mongolia. They did like not a winners, but like a past contestants, like the favorites almost season. And they brought her back on that one. And I think she made it really far. On the current season though, shout out to you, there's a Vancouver guy on the current season of Alone. They're up in like the Vancouver, like Victoria Island, like they're up in that isle. And he is like 40s or something, and he's this really like fun older black gentleman, and he's really funny. Like I think he knows that like sometimes the show probably gets boring, and they carry all their own camera equipment, so he has fun with it and clearly like kind of plays with the camera sometimes, and he's made it pretty far so far.
Well, the Portland woman, she would like talk to herself and talk to her like family as if they were there and whatnot, and it seems super weird, but then when you think about it probably I would have to talk to myself.
They're alone, and they also have to carry their own camera equipment, so there's not even like a crew there with them, so they are literally setting up like 3 different cameras and like talking to a camera as you as the viewer.
If you're looking for a good like reality show to binge watch that doesn't have drama among people, I mean, they totally face drama. The one guy, I felt so bad. He woke up.
They have drama because people have like broken their freaking leg.
It's like real life trauma problem.
Or like people have almost passed out because they like could not hunt for 3 days, so they didn't have food. Like,
or even like they get their stuff all wet and it's all they have.
Or there's a bear.
Yeah.
There's something.
Okay, guys. So if you're bored,
watch
Alone.
It's a great show.
Anyways, what were we?
We're Instagram. You were talking about Instagram.
Okay.
How you crossed influencer sometimes with Instagram model.
And it's hard, not to like roll my eyes at the word influencer, but then when you really jump into it and look at it, you're like, oh, these people are calculated and they're doing this intentionally. Anyways, okay, so here's my comparisons. Instagram, you're being paid for a social presence, whereas when you're working, you're being paid for like your skill and time.
That's a good way to say it.
So you're brand versus like, I don't want to say talent because it doesn't mean that Instagram people aren't talented, but talented as a model.
But you're paid more for your image and less for like what you can actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Instagram more like lifestyle and iPhone like work and whatnot.
It's very lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely see a high fashion. It's very lifestyle. Which lifestyle is so hard on its own. So I'm almost very impressed because it's hard to be like look like you're having fun in certain scenarios
and sell it
really well, or look like you're a natural beauty with like maybe you actually have a crap ton of makeup on.
Yeah.
So like it's very impressive. It's its own beast. But
it sells a real life instead of a lifestyle, which
it does.
Gets confusing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they do that, and then like working models, they do more, like including runway. To me, that was a big difference. Like
that was my big difference.
If you see an influencer on a runway, they're probably there because they're an influencer, and they are there to
honestly to have fun.
Yeah, to have fun, and they're there as their brand. Like a celebrity being played to be at a club.
My perfect example is there's this, it's men's underwear / he has some other stuff. It's called Marco, but he always brings people who are usually really important to like the queer identity or the LGBTQ plus AI field. So, like, he did a runway show, and he always brings, like, a bunch of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, and they model for him. But they model because, like, they're a personality to me. He brought, when Manny MUA was, like, a really big YouTube beauty influencer, he modeled for him. Like, James Charles modeled for him. I think Nikita Dragun did, too, in that one show I'm thinking of. Yeah. So, like, they all walked a runway, but they walked it more as, like, I'm having fun and I'm a personality, less of, like, if your agent was looking at you right now, they'd be critiquing your walk. Which they wouldn't with that person. They'd be looking at them being like, oh, they're selling it, they're having a fun time. Whereas, like, if I'm out there and, like, example, Choli would never do this, but, like, if Choli was watching me on a runway...
agent from Ryan the Artist.
Yeah, she's our president. But if Choli was watching me on a runway, she'd be like, oh, you could have... She'd, like, give me some feedback, which I always...
Because you're working, whereas they're... Yeah.
And I'm representing them, too, because I'm part of their agency. So you always have to think of it as, like, you're representing multiple people, whereas when you're coming from a social media field, you're really just representing yourself. Whereas I have Choli on me. I have Ryan's artist on me. I have this show on me, too. And then I also have whatever designer I'm wearing. So that's like maybe 4 other things plus myself. Right. You know? So.
Yeah. Quick big shout out, though, to remember last year in Fashion Next, they had Blair Sinclair.
Fucking love her. I said hi to her backstage. It was cool. I was like, I watched you on RuPaul's Drag Race and I love you, and no one else went up to her and did that. I feel like I was the only one that recognized her.
Yeah,
like,
so sweet. And I got to like be back with her in like the makeup room, and
so nice.
She did her own makeup because most drag queens do. But
they'll do their own stuff. They'll let an artist touch up like the shadow.
Yeah, she let like our eyelash sponsor apply the eyelashes for her. Anyways, I mean. Influencer, personality, whatever, TV person or not, that was a model. Like,
she killed it.
If you didn't know, you didn't know.
No. So many people I feel like didn't know, because I was like freaking out and I was telling people why I was freaking out and they're like, what? I'm like, oh my god, you don't watch the show, you don't understand. She had this whole traumatic story and she was like amazing. She's like a survivor of sexual assault and she's like an advocate and she's great. And it's like, and I remember talking to her a little bit being like, you're gonna do great. She's like, kill it. And her boyfriend was back there too and he was very sweet. Like, she was great.
Yeah, that was a cool experience.
I will say, the designer she worked for was Mondo Gutra.
I don't know how to say it from Project Runway.
From Project Runway, but he is very good about like as someone who I think identifies as a queer person also, or someone part of that community, he's very good about like representing those people. So I think he makes a lot of costumes for the drag race girls, but it's nice that he brings them on his runways too. I think just to show representation, because that is a form of representation of someone who identifies in that world, and it's like they're not on a runway that often, or if they are, it's like they don't get to represent it as themselves. They're usually like it's supposed to be something else. So it's nice that she got to do that. Also, she wore like a killer dress. Oh my God. That dress was
those images will never go away.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, on that like topic, Instagram models are more aiming to promote a brand and not work for them, whereas working models want to work for a brand and be their canvas. So that's a big difference. But a similarity is you both have to network. You both have to put, obviously, social media time in, them more so. But going out and meeting people, you have to...
Usually you both have a form of an agent that you have to work with and go to some form of castings. Like for them, it's sometimes a brand is working through their agent. But I've heard a couple like... example of someone who was a social media influencer. We've talked about it a little bit, like Tiny Meat Gang, Cody Co. Like he talks about how he kind of wants to break into acting. So through his agent, even though they have their own thing, they do a comedy thing. He will still go to castings and be like a normal guy at all these castings to try to get into acting a little more. So they still like hustle the same amount we do. It's just they're definitely coming from a different perspective of where they already clearly have a brand identity. Yeah. And, like, they really don't want to sway from that super hard usually. Or if they do, it's still, like, you could see it in their circle of what they could, like, would do. Whereas with us, you kind of have to be open to anything because it's, like what you're given in a way.
It is. Like, and that brings it to, like, my last point that with a working model, the job or the work or whatever is gone after you get paid. Whereas an Instagram model, you control your content. So you have control for the most part. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but from what you see from the outside, like they get to pick their own photos that they post, and they this and that. And usually with a working model, sometimes you don't even see your work. It's you've been paid. That was your job. And that's it. And hopefully you get rehired, obviously.
Hopefully you even get credited. Half the time, I'd say when I do things, most people are better about it now. But if you get hired for like by a big company or like even a magazine, they sometimes do not credit you, especially in the magazine, but especially on social media. Like you won't get credited. Like you'll get told later that someone saw it. And I'm like, well, shoot, I would have loved to at least been tagged so I could get those photos. You know? Like whereas, like example again, like Flitz has all his photos or like he does a couple of sponsored videos when he gets them, and so he gets to like edit the whole video and be like, this is what I want to put out. By the way, I love you if you're listening. I adore you.
I have to look this person up.
Congrats on getting on your new channel, because I know you just got on a new channel. I'm very proud of you.
Shout out for shout out. Yeah. Hashtag.
I love you.
Oh, I just yelled that into the mic. Sorry, guys.
I adore you as an amazing human being.
Aw, how sweet.
So sweet. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Obsessions?
Yeah, let's talk about obsessions. If you guys think of more things that we completely missed, or if anybody has more of an insight into the Instagram side of it all, I'm kind of curious. Do you have an agent? I don't know.
Yeah, do you work through a talent promoter?
Yeah.
Who does everything for you? Or, that'd be kind of cool to find out.
Yeah. And if you want to be on our podcast and talk about it.
Heck yeah, man.
I think people would be really interested in hearing about that.
That'd be cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, obsessions. So,
I have one.
Okay.
So, when this comes out, I don't know if I'll have the photos out yet, but I basically just did a shoot at Cobalt Studios, which is here in Portland. And I have never shot there before, so I walked in and I was very impressed. Yep. I feel like that is the most professional studio I've ever shot in.
Hands down.
Close to NXT.
That was a nice studio.
NXT was really nice. It was just like slightly rougher, but you almost expect that from a studio. But NXT still had like a changing room and a makeup area and everything.
It was a shared workspace. But I walked into Cobalt and I was just impressed. Like they have several different
shoot setups where you could do video or not.
Yeah.
They have a huge makeup and hair station with several different mirrors. There's like a changing area, and then there's almost like in a bridal store, like the mirror with the pedestal.
Yeah.
Like, and now with Luggage Cart leaving her stuff there, which shout out to you, Alex. There's a whole like styling thing you can do. It's so great.
Big shout out to Shop the Luggage Cart because she's like our biggest fan.
I adore you.
We love you. I'm going to tag your stuff in our description.
Yeah.
Go check her out. She's a local stylist in Portland, and she can come style your photo shoots, and she's super fun.
And she does a lot of vintage things too, which are cool because they're beautiful pieces.
Yeah, very unique.
Yes.
But I'm really happy to hear you shout out Cobalt because I could talk about them till I'm blue in the face, but I just love them.
They're great.
I could talk about them until I'm Cobalt in the face.
Cobalt.
Anyways.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, so I have like 3. But
we'll go for it. We
got
time.
Yeah, there's a new Instagram that I just came across, and it's called Comments by Celebs.
Ooh, okay.
And they just like screenshot celebrities commenting on stuff, and it's fucking hilarious. And they'll comment on each other's stuff, and I don't know. I love that Instagram. That one and Dogs of UPS. It's UPS drivers, and they just post pictures of the dogs that they visit on their routes.
That's so funny.
It's a good pick-me-up.
That's so cute. I know. Oh my god, I feel like that's a way for them to pass the time.
Right? They all bring treats with them, and every now and then, like...
Well, probably because they don't want to potentially have a really angry dog, so
maybe.
they have to, be careful.
Some of them have, like, stories attached to them.
That's
like,
so funny. Oh my
it'll
god.
be the same UPS driver from puppy to, like, adult dog.
That's so
I know,
freaking cute.
I know.
Oh my goodness, that warms my heart.
So follow them, Comments by Celebs, and Dogs of UPS. I believe that's what it is. It should be easy to find. And then TV, because I am obsessed with TV. I get really annoyed when people are like, successful people don't watch TV.
Screw you, I watch TV all the time.
I love TV.
Forms of TV or YouTube or whatever.
I like
streaming services.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
so
what do you got?
I've been watching In the Dark on Netflix, and it's about a blind woman and her trying to solve a mystery. It's like funny, and it's got its moments of not being particularly well written. I will give it that. Don't go into it. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't go into it with like the highest hopes, but it's entertaining. And then The Boys on Prime, Amazon Prime. I know everybody.
How is it?
It is good. There are some scenes where you're just like, what the hell did I just watch? It is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's basically like this company that has superheroes, and the superheroes, some of them are bad and some of them are good, and the company like is not great, and they're using good people for bad. It's just basically about how like the country is right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, very good.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, check it out, guys.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, make sure to
please subscribe if you're on a thing that can subscribe.
Yeah, and rate and review us if you feel like giving us 5 stars. Otherwise, let us know how we can improve. And follow us on Instagram at Model Talk Podcast PDX.
Also, if we do polls on Instagram, please respond because like we're actually trying to do that to gauge ideas with people, which people eventually do. But initially, it's like sometimes we really want to know. Like we just put out a poll the other day if people wanted us to maybe do one Instagram live podcast, and people really liked it. But it takes a while before, and a bunch of people will look at it and not rate. So if you have the time, I understand some people are just like flipping through on their lunch break and don't have time. But if you have the time, please like do the polls or like rate things or comment on things, because it does help us improve this show. Yeah. Because we want feedback. We want audience feedback. We want the people's feedback because we want to make it better.
The people, yeah.
Because you're our people.
Reach out to us. We want to know. I also want to know who you guys want us to interview. I think our first person should be Allison Elizabeth. I know, she's responded. Local and I adore her, and we could get her going. Cool. So, yeah. Shout out to Allison. We'll figure that out. Okay, guys. Cool. Thanks for listening. New episodes air on Thursdays, and we'll try to be as consistent as possible. And, yeah. Bye. Bye.